I want to touch to close the show on this goal and the reaction from it from Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal statement. Um, this is my fault of it watching it back because I actually didn't watch it. All I did after the game was go out, have something to eat and drink with the people around me and just forget about the result. I didn't want to see the game back again. And I didn't until today. And I was on the way home and I watched the highlights and I watched it again when I got in. Um, I I've watched all three of the things. And I'm with you, Kenny. I don't know what Ben White's doing. He's just watching Willock and having a look at him. Maybe he's trying to check out whether he should have stayed at Arsenal or gone and played at Newcastle. But for me, it was embarrassing. Just staring at him, just watching him. Um, I think the ball's gone out. Some people think the ball hasn't gone out. It's fine. It's 50-50. Some people are saying it has. People are saying it hasn't. Right? So that's the first one. The second one is the offside. Okay. Can't really see if he is or isn't. Some are saying that's fine. No clear and obvious there. But the one that is for me is the foul. So I watched it and I thought actually maybe Gabriel should have been stronger. But he's got both hands on him. He's pushing him down. And I think that's a foul. So that's the one I'm going to go with as to why that shouldn't have been allowed. What I don't agree with is the massive outrage and overreaction on this call. Because I would say the performance was more worrying than the VAR, in my opinion. Because even with that VAR, we ain't winning the game. That ain't the reason we ain't got 3 points. Yeah, we were never getting 3 points because we were poor. Yeah, so even if that wouldn't have counted, I'd still be walking away going, what a disappointment, 0-0. Oh, God, we ain't winning this league. We've got to be winning games like that. So I ain't sitting there now going, oh, if it weren't for VAR, I'm still doing fine. It's VAR that's the issue. It's them refs again, them poxy referees. They're the problem. It's nothing to do with Arsenal. We're all rosy. No, quite the opposite. Now, Arteta, in my opinion, has gone a little bit over the top, but some would say that perhaps he's just had enough now and gone, actually, this just adds to the 2 or 3 that have affected my club, and I'm just going to go in now and go in on them. So that's what he wants to do. That's fine. The Arsenal have made a statement. Everyone's come out in the media saying it's now embarrassing. So be it. But they're my honest opinions on the 3 of them. I think the ball might have gone out, but apparently we don't know. Cool. What about the next one? Well, the next one is it's a foul on Gabriel. No, apparently it's not. All about the offside, too close, can't tell, can't be looking at that angle, all these kind of excuses. I'm not outraged by this. I'm disappointed by the performance. Now, I might be alone there and everyone might disagree and go, you're joking, Dan. The VAR's robbed us. It screwed us over. Yeah, it's going to continue to do that. VAR is not something I can rely on anymore. So we need to make sure we never have to rely on VAR by winning games of football. That's my honest opinion. Lee.
Right. I get it. And the reason that I'm gonna back Arteta for coming out with this, I do think there's a little bit of putting up a little bit of a smoke screen about it because of the performance and everything like that. You know, no one's talking about Raya making a massive mistake and everything like that. I get that. West Ham at home last season, Boxing Day, took 6 minutes to chalk off a goal from Martinelli on the line. Do you remember it? 6 minutes, right on half time. 6 minutes, and then they got the conclusion that it was offside. Yesterday, they took 4 minutes to do all 4, and they didn't. It's offside. I've watched it. I've seen it. It's offside. People are going, oh, look, he's bigger. You have to have 2 players behind the ball. 9 times out of 10, the goalkeeper's always behind the ball, so it's only 1 defender. So people don't even know the rules, but it has to be 2 players. If you look at it, he's behind. He's in front of Gabriel, but he's behind the goalkeeper, so it's offside. Now, when you're taking 6 or 7 minutes. And finding a way for Martinelli to be offside. It didn't affect us because we went on and won the game. So it doesn't matter. Then another 2 months later, they forget to put the lines up for a goal, like, you know what I mean? Cost us against Brentford, right? You know, then there was one again this season that's happened already, like, you know, I think at the end of the day, enough's enough. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with, like, the incompetence of VAR. Not just with Arsenal, by the way. Wolverhampton Wanderers, as Kenny said earlier on, I don't know how they feel about it. They must be going absolutely
about
mad.
5, haven't they now? About 5 in 12 games.
That they've had, right? So I think at the end of the day, Mikel coming out with it is not just for Arsenal's sake, it's for everybody's sake, because it's piss poor what I'm seeing from VAR week in, week out. They don't even get the lines right forget to put the lines up for the Liverpool game, cost Liverpool points. You know what I mean? Everybody was laughing and joking Liverpool. I wasn't. I didn't think it was fair. Wolves with whatever. Even last week, you can go on to the Man United game. When you turn around, people are saying, "Oh, ain't really a push and it's not really a foul." Well, so was that one at Manchester City and Man United last week, because I've seen that 100 times. Why is that getting given? You know what I mean? Now, those are the things that go on to it. Now, I've seen today, I don't know if it's true, Michael Oliver in a Newcastle shirt and all that, and he's the one on VAR. You know what I mean? So I am right now. I'm backing Mikel on that. You know what I mean? If he's done it for the right reasons, guys, and those right reasons are because I'm fed up with VAR. And I think at the end of the day, if he's fed up with it, that's fine. If he's looking to cover it up because of mistakes from other things, that's wrong. So that's where I stand on that, and I'm glad that Arsenal have made a statement about it, because it's not right. You know what I mean?
Jamie Carragher's not.
I'm fed up with things, right? If you ever look
Carragher was not.
Yeah, well, forget about what he says, right? You know what I mean? Let's go back to the Wolves one, the penalty at Wolves yesterday. Minimal contact, right? Still given. Why was it given? And people turn around and say because it was the on referee's call. Yeah? Yeah, right. You agree with that? Very harsh. It was referee's call at Manchester United Arsenal when Havertz went down for a penalty.
Yeah.
VAR changed it. They didn't change yesterday's one, did they? When it was the same sort of thing, Dan. You know what I mean? But they've said,
you got the Rashford ball that was out and the weren't out. This one weren't out.
Exactly. And they've gone on that one, on that VAR. They've gone on with you think it's right, whether you think it's wrong. Referee's call. It was the referee's call at Manchester United versus Arsenal, and they overturned it. So I am saying, right, call out these people, because you're doing it one week and you're not doing it the next one, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's that, So listen, Noel, how can you be offside when Gordon is behind Joe Linton? Go and get your rule book out. He is behind Joe Linton, but he is in front of Raya. So that means you have to have two players for offside. This is what I'm saying when people don't know the rules, Dan. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking Noel for it, because a lot of people don't know the rules in football, That's why people are not thinking it's offside, but it is offside, right? But that's why. So for instance, on everything there, that is why I think it should be called out, and I'm happy that Arsenal have called it out, and Liverpool called it out. Listen, if I'm with Liverpool, I felt that decision was 10 times worse than what we've had yesterday. If I'll be honest, I'll be really honest. You know what I mean? It should be called off, but it isn't. And that is the problem. That is the problem.
It is. It's massively a problem. The other thing that was a bit of a strange one, Kenny, Bruno Guimaraes on Jorginho, was crazy. I don't know what that is. People are saying, "Oh, is that a red? What is it then? What is that?" There's nothing. Apparently, there's nothing. Well, VAR going to look at that now, because he didn't give a yellow, so he can go back now and look at that, but they won't. His elbow Jorginho in the head. I don't know what he's doing there. Kai Havertz, he's gone in hard. I looked at it and thought, yeah, it's a yellow, but that could have quite easily, very, very closely have been a red. People are calling it like an orange card. That was a bad one, but I don't think they've got many things right there again. And this is why I keep saying, Kenny, we have to perform in these games, because when we're talking about VAR, it's not normally when we won 4-0, is it? It's normally when it's cost us. And I get that, because it's not just Arsenal that do that. Liverpool do it, Spurs do it, Wolves do it, right? But for me, we've got to now just forget about this, trying to rely on this technology used by these officials, because it ain't going to win us any games, mate.
Well, of course, because that's the thing. But the thing is that people need to. I can't tell people what to do, but what I can say is the reason is, let's not forget why we had VAR, and let's not forget who called for it. Everyone with a stakehold in football, and fans have a stakehold, journalists have a stakehold, pundits have a stakehold, players, chairman, and coaches have a stakehold. The common denominator was they said the referees need help. They need technological help, because they have these in other sports. So we can't put the genie back in the bottle. We really can't. Whether we want to or not, we can't. the problem with yesterday's the goal itself is because we've been told that the attacker should always get the benefit of the doubt. Before, when people were, when everything was more defensive, it was defender got the benefit of the doubt. But because we wanted to see more goals, wanted to see more, like I said, more action, it was always the attacker who got the benefit of the doubt. So, unfortunately, if they say they're not sure about the ball going out and they weren't sure about the offside or the foul, then I was pessimistic. I was just thinking, that's going to be a goal, because the minute it went from the ball not going out, I said this is a goal. But in terms of like Kai Havertz, that's not a sending off. It wasn't high, it was low, and it was one of the things where he's gone in recklessly but competitively. But that was a yellow card. I think the reason why people was calling that a red card is because of the overreaction by the Newcastle players and Eddie Howe and his mates trying to overreact and trying to get the place off. And then when you see people pushing and having a go at the guy, it becomes worse than what it was.
Yeah.
Because what's happening now, Guimaraes now thinks he can do what he likes now, because they think that it should have been red, but it wasn't a red. Guimaraes was a prat from minute 1 to 95th minute. He was just a prat, and let's face it, anyone who dyes their hair blonde is a prat anyway. Don't get me wrong. But in terms of how he played, he was just looking for trouble and looking for problems. I'm just glad our players didn't follow him, because he was looking for an accomplice. The forearm smash, I don't know, mate. The forearm smash, I thought it could have been a yellow. The handoff in the face, that was the hand on the face. We've seen it happen many times, haven't you? When you're someone's trying to tackle you and you just do that, it's accidentally on purpose. Should he have been sent off? Well, I think he could have been, because if he committed 2 yellow card offences, so yeah, he should have been off. But again, the referee was allowed to control a lot of that game. If the VAR should have gone, right, we're not happy with this. VAR looking at it. VAR looked at it and said no. But I've got a problem with VAR, because what we had before VAR was catastrophic. It was catastrophic. The referee in this country was terrible.
Yeah, facts.
I think VAR has saved us. A lot of goals that shouldn't have been awarded are not being awarded now. We've got to think about it. Let's look at the Man United Fulham game. I thought that was a goal that McTominay scored, because Garnacho wasn't offside. But when I looked at it again, Maguire was trying to get involved in a free kick. He put his foot out, and that caused the Fulham defender to react. So that was correct. Now, there was no VAR. Fulham may not have had a goal they shouldn't have had. So, not 70% of the times VAR's done well. It's just the high-profile times when it's gone wrong. And poor old Wolves and Gary O'Neill, they suffered more than anyone else. We kind of got upset of it, because from where it looked, the ball looked like it went out. I was calling it for it to go out, no doubt about that. I was calling for it to go out, because I thought, right, that's no goal. But again, I was sure, but I'm not on the pitch. I'm not a liner. I'm not in VAR, and that's the situation. I do think that it was paint on the cracks. But in terms of Arteta being supported by the football club, well, yeah, Arteta's it's not a surprise, because Arteta's been has got as much love from the football club as Arsene Wenger was getting from the club. In fact, I don't think even George Graham got that love from the club. I mean, George Graham is our greatest ever manager, even better than Wenger. Yet I don't remember him getting these kind of these gifts from Harrods like Arteta gets. But it's the way you should do. You should always back your man, because that's the way to do it, because they know that if they don't, they know what's coming there. Because Arteta lost his rag in the press conference, they know that the Premier League and the FA are going to go for him. So they had the right to do it. It's a shame that they didn't do that for George Graham 32 years ago, when they fined him after our players decided to have like I said, 11 against 11 against at Man United. But I'm not talking about football. I'm talking about the handbags. But that's the way things are. Arteta's the most important manager we've ever had. You know, a lot of people have a lot of time for Mikel at the club. In fact, I think Mikel runs the show. I mean, you know, there's a lot of things we don't know what's going on. We certainly have not been told a full story about Thomas Partey, but I'll leave that to everyone's imagination. But if you believe everything you're in about the Thomas Partey situation, well, I suppose you don't watch enough of the Bill or the American spy programs.
Mate, we'll leave that one. But I'm with you. Listen, something I wanted to quickly touch on before we close, Lee, was we had some of the best set piece records I've ever known in the last 18 months. Scoring from them, not conceding from them. Nicholas Yova has got a hell of a lot of respect, and rightly so for that. Has he left us? Because at the moment, our set pieces are a shambles. We had 11 corners yesterday. Newcastle had none. And we were awful. We couldn't beat the first man. We've got this obsession with getting all of our players at the back post. So they all run towards it. They don't beat it. Doesn't reach any of them. It just gets cleared away by the first Newcastle lad or the first defender. I've been so disappointed by. It doesn't matter who takes them, by the way. Whether it's Martinelli, Trossard, Saka, they all go the same place. What are we doing there?
Yeah, listen, I think it's been poor. I don't know what's been going on with our set pieces, particularly like, you know, the corner takers. I remember last season, I think it was against Fulham. We was putting it in the near post and going, what the hell are they doing? And then, like, obviously they targeted it and Leno let one go and we ended up nicking a goal. And you thought, well, wow, they've sort of like seen a weakness there and they've exploited it. I don't see none of that now. Like, it's just like the crosses and set pieces and corners and free kicks, poor. Really poor, like, you know what I mean? So, and I'll tell you what, saying about that Bruno, I wouldn't want him at Arsenal. Not because I don't think he's a good player or anything like that, but the antics that he gets away with, he'd never get away with them at Arsenal. Never would he. They'd be on him like a rash.
I agree with that.
If he was playing for Arsenal, yes, he'd been sent off.
Oh, he would have, 100%. No, that's so true, actually. You think about that, and that is absolutely spot on. And he's done that now, 3 games in a row now. He's done that against West Ham, now against Arsenal. There's one more he's done it against as well. So, yeah, he's a dirty player. Very good player, by the way.
I don't get it. I like him as a player, but I wouldn't want him at Arsenal because he wouldn't last 5 minutes.
Well, there we go. I think that's fair. Just quickly before we close, there's one super chat here from Strasbourg Steve who says, who was Newcastle's man of the match for you guys? He says, thanks, love the content a lot. Well, thanks for the super chat, man. Lee, any Newcastle players stand out for you yesterday?
I'm going to say it now. I thought I was very, very, very impressed with Trippier. I thought he played really, really well on the right back position. And then when he went over to the left back position, he done really well there as well. I was very, very impressed with him. And I was impressed with the 2 central defenders. Not up against a lot, but there you go, like, you know what I mean? But I didn't think anybody really stood out on both teams, if I'll be really honest. But I thought Saliba for us and Declan Rice defensively. But Trippier, I was very, very impressed with. A player that I've never been really too sure about, but watching him yesterday, I was very impressed with him.
Fair play, man. One player, not just in this game, but one that's really, really impressed me of late has been Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, very good.
He's been really good. And when he left Everton, I thought, quite a hell of a lot of money. But actually, he's really played well. And I thought it was again,
he started off bad there, but he's settling in.
Yeah, he's settled in now. You know, he's settled in now. Fair play. Listen, we've got Seville and Burnley next. We might as well close on our thoughts going into those ones. Lee, start with you. Let Kenny have the last word. Confident going into that? What would you like to see changes? Any changes at all? Or
I don't see many changes because for the simple reason is we can't really change that many. So I expect a tough game against Seville. Maybe nick it by the odd goal, 1-0, 2-1, something like that. I expect a feast against Burnley.
Yeah, I do as well. Kenny, anything to add on that?
Well, yes, I think Sevilla is still going to. They're going to be worried about our athleticism because I think our athleticism won us the game. 3 weeks ago. But one thing they're going to be like really happy about is that there's no Jesus. They're going to instead have Eddie. So, Jesus caused them a lot of problems. It enabled Martinelli to run into a lot of space. So that's another, way we've got to fix it. In terms of Burnley, I say it respectfully because I do respect Company. They're a gift that keeps on giving. how they think they can play expansive football in this league is just, well, it's
They've been poor, man. They've been really poor.
brainstorm because they're asking for trouble, because it's commendable. But if you're going to leave space against us, then I'll tell you one thing: Eddie's going to look like Pele again because he's going to get a whole lot of chances.
Yeah, he'll probably get another hat trick, and then everyone will say we don't need Ivan Toney again. But
I
there
don't know,
we
mate.
go.
You know the score, mate. You've got to give him credit when credit's due. But in terms of Eddie Nketiah, the litmus test is always the away games and the big games, the 6 pointers.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.